Today's episode is about a moment everyone encounters, but many misunderstand. The discipline threshold. That point where the work stops feeling exciting, the motivation fades, and the resistance turns up the pressure. Most people interpret that moment as a sign to stop. But that's not what it means. This threshold is a doorway into self-respect, identity, and the version of you that doesn't negotiate with your standards. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control, From Fitness to Flourishing. There's a moment in every meaningful pursuit where the initial energy disappears. The motivation fades, and the novelty wears off. The emotional reward isn't there yet. You haven't gone far enough. The results aren't visible, and the work feels heavier than you imagined it would be. This is the discipline threshold. It's the point where most people quit, not because they're incapable, but because they misinterpret the moment. They think the resistance means something is wrong, that they're not cut out for what they're doing. They think the lack of motivation means they've chosen the wrong path. But this threshold isn't the warning that they think it is. It's a signal. It's the moment where the old identity resists the emergence of the new one. Before the threshold, everything is easy. You're motivated, you're inspired, you're imagining the outcome, and it's glorious. You're excited about the change you're about to start. But none of that builds identity. Identity is built when the excitement dies and you keep going. That is the work that changes who you are. The discipline threshold is the moment where your actions stop being fueled by emotion and start being fueled by your intention and your commitment. This is where the real transformation begins. And it doesn't feel good. It feels like work. The part of you that quits, the part that negotiates, delays, avoids, procrastinates, it doesn't die quietly. It resists. It argues. It bargains. It whispers to you promises of ease and comfort. Not today. You're tired. You've done enough. You can start again tomorrow. It'll be easier tomorrow. That voice can be interpreted as weakness, but it's simply the old identity trying to survive. The discipline threshold is the moment where you decide which identity gets to live. And it's a wrestling match. When the threshold hits, most people assume, this shouldn't be this hard. I must be doing something wrong. If I were disciplined, I wouldn't feel this resistance. This must not be the right time. Something feels off. I'll wait until I feel ready and motivated again. But the threshold isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something meaningful is happening. And it feels like this every time. The resistance you feel is proof that you are leaving the gravitational pull of your old conditioning. The friction is proof that you are entering new territory, that you are creating something you've never done before. The discomfort is proof that you are building a new internal structure. The threshold is not something to avoid. It's something to embrace. It's the evidence of progress. The threshold is the doorway to self-respect. Self-respect isn't built when things are easy. It's built when things are difficult and you don't give up on yourself. When you don't let your intentions fall to the wayside, you stay committed. Every time you cross the threshold, every time you act consistently and in alignment when it would be easier not to, you send yourself a message. My standards are important. They matter to me. I don't negotiate with who I am becoming. I follow through because that's what I do. It's who I am. I can rely on my word. This is the moment where self-respect is earned. It's not a matter of intensity or perfection. It's simply consistency and commitment in the presence of that resistance that you feel. The threshold itself is temporary. When you feel it the most intensely is when it's toughest. But that also means you are very close to moving past it, that you will have changed in an important way. Once you move past it, something shifts. The resistance becomes quiet. The behavior stabilizes. The new identity strengthens. And the action starts to feel more natural. That's the moment where discipline becomes principled action. You've moved from that cerebral choosing of, this is what I must do because it matters, to, this is what I do because this is who I am. Where the effort becomes expression. Where the behavior stops being something you are trying to do and just becomes something you simply do. The identity you build by crossing the threshold becomes as permanent as your commitment to it. It takes effort to maintain it, but it takes even more effort to change it. And that's the point. The same intentionality that got you through the threshold is what keeps the new identity alive. You don't outgrow the need for commitment. You just stop having to fight for it with the same level of effort. Every meaningful identity shift has a cost, and the cost comes in discomfort, friction, that resistance that you feel. But the reward is internal peace. The person that you prefer to be eventually expressing itself. Self-respect is knowing that you took the action to make that possible. The reward is becoming someone that you yourself admire. And that is worth crossing the threshold every single time. It's hard work, but it is so worth it. So, the discipline threshold isn't the moment that tells you you should quit. It's the moment you're supposed to work through. It's the point where the old identity resists and the new identity is emergent. It's the doorway to self-respect, and the only way through is forward. And if you're in that moment right now, if the work feels heavy, if the motivation is gone, and if the resistance is loud, excellent. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Keep going. Cross the threshold. Become the person that you want to become. That's it for today. Catch you next time.